Bum bum. Hi everybody. Have you ever wondered what it's like being a guy who lives in Japan and is American and makes videos about his life in Japan and reacts to Japanese videos and Japan related videos? Well, you look no further, wander no further, question no further. I'm Hot Papa Tikyo. I'm your dad who lives in Japan, and every Friday at 8 a.m. Tokyo time we do a reaction video. And today we're doing a reaction video to the YouTuber Tokini Andy. I've met him once or twice, I think, but I don't remember. But I'm pretty sure I met him. And anyway, I studied Japanese all day with a Nintendo 3DS for 1 month. Here's what happened. And yeah, anyway, boom, here we go. Tokini Andy was a guy. I feel like I'm mixing up like him with a different Andy who did Japanese study videos or something. But yeah, I think I remember I made a video a long time ago about Rachel and Jun, and he commented on there without watching the video, and he got all pissed off, and then he's like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't realize that was a joke," and blah 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 blah. And I was like, "Ha! You didn't watch the video. I got you." But I don't know if that's him or if that was a different Andy. But anyway, hi Tokini Andy. I know you're watching this, so yeah, let's get into it. Tokini Andy's one of those guys who like he can just move anywhere and he can just be successful. He's got that. He's got that Mormon mindset about him, you know. Yeah. Anyway, I can't remember. I think he's one of. I lump him into a category of foreigner who moves to Japan. And wait a second, I can't remember if I'm mixing up him with another Andy. For some reason, I'm thinking like this guy. Wait a second, no, that was a different guy. That wasn't him. That was a different guy who married a white chick, who lives in Kyushu or something, and he has like a production company or something here. Fuck, that was a completely different guy. That was a completely different guy. What the fuck was that guy's name? Anyway, point is, let's get into the video. Nintendo 3DS for 1 month. Let's go. I lost mine. When I was moving, I lost it. I never recovered it.
I wanted to see if I could level up my Japanese ability, specifically my reading and vocabulary, using only the Nintendo 3DS.
Oh, yeah, guys. I should note this as a way to promote my own stuff. So I'm streaming this on Twitch as I record this reaction video right now. But I am a Japanese translator and a Japanese interpreter, and I love studying Japanese, and that's what I'm doing while I react to these videos. So if you ever want to come over and study Japanese with me, come over to my Twitch. The links is down below. Same thing with the link for this video. And yeah, I also offer Japanese lessons on my Patreon, which are very reasonably priced, and we have a whole Discord community for learning Japanese, well, plus other stuff, but half of it's learning Japanese. So let's get into this. I love Pokemon, I love anime. Let's go.
I also wanted to be able to play the computer game Dragon Quest X more smoothly and with less lookups. Finally, I wanted to get back at least a portion of my Japanese writing ability. I also wanted to get a perfect score on the JLPT M1, but that's a longer-term goal. With those goals in mind, I devised an extremely complicated test that would push the boundaries of my knowledge.
Yeah, look at that.
I read a book for 30 minutes, and I tracked how many page turns and lookups I had. Then I played Dragon Quest X for 1 hour and tracked my progress and lookups on that.
Oh, that's really smart.
If I was going to become a Nihongo master using only the Nintendo 3DS, I needed the best games. I didn't want any
Does
hiragana
this guy
only
live in
games.
Japan?
Reading things in just hiragana is a royal pain.
I hate reading shit in hiragana. We're playing Pokemon Emerald right now, and it's all in hiragana, and it sucks me dry, but not in the good way. It sucks me dry, but I'm soft. I'm not hard,
Ideally,
damn it.
I wanted games with furigana, which is kanji that has how you
Yeah,
read above
furigana.
or below the kanji itself. While I don't mind games that just use kanji, furigana makes life for learners easier. At least, that's what I thought. I actually changed my mind about this later on in the project, which I'll explain later. I also wanted games with a lot of dialogue. Fighting games,
Oh yeah, one of the nice things too is that when I'm playing Japanese on Twitch, I've been playing like Persona 5 and shit, and whenever I see something, I screen capture it because I'm playing it through my computer. Well, like I'm capturing the footage through my computer, so I get to capture all this stuff and make flashcards out of it later. It's very cool.
Racing games and stuff like that probably wouldn't get me far, but dialogue-heavy RPGs are perfect. When I started, I didn't realize what a wide variety of visual novels the 3DS has, but these are excellent for studying as well. Cheap! Used games are pretty affordable in Japan, and I got most of the games I bought for less
visual
than
novels
$10,
are boring, though.
often less than $5. The Higurashi no Naku Koro games were between $3 and $15. Dragon
Yeah,
Quest
but they're
8
so
was a little
boring.
more expensive, but at least it's a long game.
They have
Finally, I
Dragon
tried to
Quest
find
8
games that
on
had
fucking
voice acting
3
so that I could get
3DS,
listening
damn.
practice while gaming too. For tracking my progress, I decided to use Japanese, a Japanese to English dictionary, to track how many words I looked up for each game. I chose this app for the sole reason that it has an amazing list feature. Every time I look up a word, I can quickly add it to a list I created for that game, and I can go through them later to see how many I remembered at the end of each week.
Does it have example sentences too? Well, I guess you gotta capture the. Does he do Andy? Do you do a copy? Like he's watching the video. Do you screen capture so you get the whole sentence, or are you just looking up the word? Because I mean, this is great, but unless you're making flashcards to remember the word later, it just seems like studying with extra steps, though.
I prefer to use a Japanese to Japanese dictionary for a project like this because more Japanese equals better, and I'm pretty decent at it already.
Abraham Lincoln, probably. That's a great quote. Yeah, Japanese. If you're not planning on being a translator, Japanese to Japanese dictionary is very good. But if you're trying to be a translator, you need to be able to articulate this shit in English too, so keep that in mind.
But none of them had such a useful list feature. Later on, I did switch over to a J2J dictionary, but that's later in the story. Morning started with Tobidase Doubutsu no Mori or
Doubutsu
Animal
no
Crossing
Mori.
for 20 to 30 minutes, just to wake up. I had quite a few lookups in the beginning of the game, but things chilled out quickly, and it was a nice little way to immerse while waking up. A huge bonus for Animal Crossing is that there's furigana, and most of the vocabulary is very useful.
I never
for
played
day-to-day
this game.
life.
Is it
After
good?
breakfast, it was time for Kanken Toreining.
Oh, he does live
2.
in Japan.
Kanken
Okay.
is the test Japanese kids and adults take to certify their kanji level. I
Kanken.
quickly finished
Oriental
level
Pearl's
10
doing
at the
that
lowest
right
level
now.
before starting this project, but from week 1 I started doing about 45 minutes to 1 hour per morning. I enjoyed this game more than I expected.
What is this guy's job? How does he have so much free time to do this shit?
It probably helped that I was more so remembering how
Oh, wait. He's probably married to a Japanese woman and he's on a spouse visa, so he doesn't have to have a normal job. Is that it? That's probably the case.
to write things I used to be able to write. I already finished Remembering the Kanji by James Hasig like 10
Yeah,
years ago, and used to
based.
write a lot at my old job. But I forgot how to
Based.
write just about everything after a year or two away from Japan. This is
That is true. I forgot. That's why I try to write Japanese in my journal every day, just so I can remember how the kakijun, the order for
might not
writing.
be a big deal for a lot of people, but living in Japan, you actually need to write quite a bit in day-to-day life.
Yep, you do.
Forms, man. So many forms. So yeah, I want this to go back. I chose Kanken Training 2 instead of 1 because it has more exercises than 1 and it's the most up-to-date. It's still using data from the 2014 version of the Kanken tests, but it's not like I'm gonna actually take the test. For the rest of the day, I usually focus on Dragon Quest 8 and more Animal Crossing. Dragon Quest 8 is awesome because it has a ton of dialogue and all the cutscenes are fully voice acted. They're good voice actors
really?
too.
Nice.
For example, the voice actor for the antagonist
Dio! Is Dio!
is this guy.
Yeah! Yeah!
And this guy.
I love that how you can, like, if you're really good at Japanese, you can, wait, Dragon Quest 8 is also on iPad? What? Dude, I love that how if you get so used to watching anime and stuff, like, the voice actor for Rick and Morty in Japanese is the same voice actor for, Saul in Better Call Saul. Like, you just pick this up. It's really good. I never watched this one,
And
the
this guy.
ReZero.
なあリヴァイ兵長
Oh,
ロビ
yeah!
とファルコにもこの雄大な自然を見せてやりたいんだが
I forgot, he is that,
I
yeah.
picked Dragon Quest games to play because I figured I could learn a bunch of common words from Dragon Quest while also having the furigana to make lookups easier. This would give me a huge head start in Dragon Quest X when I finally get back into it. I also played a tiny bit of Zelda Ocarina of Time this week, but there really wasn't a lot of difficult dialogue. I think this might be perfect for a beginner though. Later in the week, I picked up Gyakuten Saiban on the e-store and started to
Yeah, Gyakuten Saiban. Yeah, the Phoenix. Yeah, damn. They had that on Steam. One of you guys was telling me to get it. I would like to play that though.
realize that visual novels like this might be even better than other games for reading practice. The only problem is that this game and most other VNs do not have furigana. There was lots of repeated vocabulary though, so it made it quite easy to remember what I learned. Fortunately,
Yeah, there's not a lot of there's no furigana, but to be honest, Japanese kids play games with a furigana too. You can't expect to be perfect. And besides, even if you can read it out loud, it doesn't mean you know the meaning. That's the great thing about kanji. At least there's like a kanji, and if you went and did Heisig already, you already know the meanings, even if you can't read it out loud.
I also was using an iPad and Apple Pencil, which allowed me to just draw kanji out
Oh,
and look up
really?
easily.
That's
My
smart.
favorite Japanese
That's
to Japanese
smart.
dictionary also allows you to search for kanji
Why
and
does
just
he keep
writing them
writing
in
the
on
kanji
iOS,
for
and you can
text?
use the writing keyboard on Android for lookups if you need to. Here's how many words I looked up in each game during week 1, as well as how long I played them for. And
Well, I mean, I do the same thing, but I don't look it up in a dictionary. I just screenshot it, and then I extract the text from there, and then I use ChatGPT to make like a furigana sentence of that and an English sentence, and then I put that into my Anki and make a flashcard of it.
And here's how many I learned. To figure this out, I went through the entire list of words I looked up, and if I remembered the meaning of the word, I counted it as learned for now. Later weeks, some of these words I forgot, and many I still remembered. This was actually a much better start than I envisioned. With that said, it was much harder to
Dude,
play 8
look at
hours per
this.
day of
Oh.
3DS than I expected, because I needed to do some regular
Damn, is Japanese. Where does he live in Japan? This looks nice.
work every day as well. And I also needed to eat, sleep, and shower. The reality was more like 6 to 7 hours. I decided I'd be happy with about 40 hours per week after actually giving this a shot on week 1. How many hours per week do you think you could dedicate to a project like this? Let me know in the comments. Week 2, I started noticing
He's a
more and more that
handsome man.
visual novels were going to be
Very
the fastest way to
handsome.
improve. If this was just for fun, I might have continued just playing Dragon Quest and Animal
Visual
Crossing, but
novels
this was
suck,
supposed to be a
though. They're
challenge.
boring.
So I wanted to really push myself. I started playing the visual novel Higurashi no Nakukoro, a horror game, although I never really reached the horror parts. My god, was that difficult. I felt like I was a complete beginner at Japanese again. These games are aimed at high schoolers and adults, and they use a lot of hard kanji even for that age group from what I've heard at least. So this was a massive challenge. I also discovered some super cheap visual novels on the eStore, which by the way is only around for a few more months, so grab them if you can. You can get cards to charge your balance on the eStore and Amazon still, which may be the only possible way for those of you living outside of Japan to charge your eStore account. And
Why
maybe
did
the
they
only way
stop
for those
the
of you living here
eStore?
too. Affiliate link in the description. So those cheap visual
Is it really that expensive for like the companies to run an e-store? Like, why would you get rid of that? Like, that's just like infinite money glitch, right? Like, is it super cost, like, does it cost a lot for them to run a server or something to keep all that shit in there? What's up, 108 Dragon? Shit, dude, I don't understand why Twitch does this. The chat's broken. It doesn't show me when you guys are chatting for some reason. I have to look it up on fucking
visual novels were basically
OBS.
just reading material with
Annoying.
pictures. There's no choices or anything and no gameplay aspects. But just having the pictures and music is enough that it's better than books for some people. With that said, the kanji is very small, so it can be a
Yeah,
little
but they're
difficult to see
usually
the
really
radicals you
boring.
need when looking up kanji. This week, Animal Crossing felt less and less challenging with too much time just collecting stuff, so for regular games, I spent around 10 hours in Dragon Quest. The further I got in Dragon Quest, though, the more grinding became necessary. Now, Dragon Quest fight text moves super fast, so I made it a point to try reading every word of it as it went by. This definitely helped my speed a bit, but it was extremely repetitive, and with only 2 weeks to go, I felt like my time might be better spent elsewhere. Here's my numbers for week 2.
Yeah, he's got to definitely be on a spouse visa if he has all this time to dedicate to YouTube projects and shit.
In week 3, I practically abandoned Dragon Quest and Animal Crossing and threw myself into Shukaku no 12 Gatsu and Higurashi no Nakukoro. It was during this week that I realized I could use save games and story trees to jump back in stories and reread things I already read. While one segment might take an hour to go through the first time, the second time might only take 50 minutes or less because I already knew how to read the words, or could just use my dictionary list as I went along for words I still struggled with. These were already in the order I had looked them up, so this made for a speedy reread. One word of warning: if you ever play Higurashi, when you go directly to a point in the timeline, it runs the story as if you took a default path. So my story became a mess before I realized that. I ended up starting over completely and utilizing the massive amount of save spaces to jump back and forth in sections instead of using the timeline. By the way, if I were to do this type of studying long term, I might not recommend just visual novels for lower level learners. It can be exhausting, and I was starting to feel it by the end of this week. If I were you, I might mix up.
Yeah, there's an only that's the reason why I only play those visual novel games on stream, is so I have like the interaction with you guys plus the novel. If I was just playing it by myself, I get bored really quick.
My games like half and half. Half regular games like Dragon Quest and Monster Hunter Stories, which I also had fun starting this week, and the other half visual novels or something. Shin Megami Tensei, by the way, which I started this week as well, seemed like
Persona.
a great game with lots of reading at first, but when you enter hell and start fighting demons, the difficulty of the gameplay made me wonder if this is really a great option for studying long term. I quit when I realized I'd be spending more time messing with save games than reading, but a lot of people will probably still enjoy it. Numbers for week 3.
Cool.
After 3 weeks of managing over 40 hours of games per week, I now had to return to the USA for a loss in my family. The beauty of the Nintendo 3DS is that it's super compact and easy to pop open anywhere and start playing. Sadly, due to all the travel and jet lag upon arrival, I couldn't manage 40 hours this week, but 25 was still better than 0. I also discovered a free visual novel in the eStore called True Remembrance that really sucked me in. All in all, after 4 weeks, I reached a total playtime of about 154 hours. I really like doing this, and if you like this video so far, smash the like button. It really helps. The difficulty with immersion is that it can be hard to notice your progress. You're with yourself every day, so without some way to measure your progress, it can seem extremely slow. That's how I felt after 4 weeks, but I was wrong. Here are the results from the day 1 read a book test. Here are the results at the end of week 4 with the same book. Double the speed, same amount of lookups. But because I read double the amount, it actually means that I nearly halved my lookups. This is a massive win in my book. I was so thrilled, I decided to keep going while I was away in the States. I only managed about 20 hours the first bonus week, but since I no longer needed to track words learned, I switched to a Japanese to Japanese dictionary, which really upped the ante. I finished True Remembrance this week. I really enjoyed this game and think it's kind of criminal that it's free on PC and DS. The music and story were on point. Check it out for sure. In the second week of month 2, I discovered the joy of Rune Factory 4. I thought I would only end up playing about 20 hours this week as well, but on the first day of Rune Factory, I played it for 7 hours. Talk about addicting. There is no furigana, but for me, the level seemed to be perfect. I still had to do a decent amount of lookups, but it wasn't jarring or anything. I'd say that I probably would have learned more if I continued with Higurashi or another VM.
Dad, what's up,
Wu-Tang?
Wu-Tang.
So much that I was able to focus for a lot longer, so perhaps it evens out in the end. This is also the point at which I realized that I kind of prefer not having furigana. If kanji show up more than once, it gives you a chance to challenge yourself to actually read them. In games, a lot of words do show up more than once, and since these days you can just draw the kanji into a dictionary, not having furigana didn't really slow me down much. Of course, furigana makes things faster, but I kind of like not having it while playing this game, and games like...
Yep, exactly. This is why I really liked Gantz, you know, when I first started reading manga, is because Gantz has no... If you want furigana, you can get that, but again, if you don't know the fucking meaning of this, if you don't know what it means when you're reading it, the furigana doesn't matter, you know? It's just a kanji. So, yeah. What's up, KO? How you doing, bro?
Like Gyakuten Saiban. Because I was away from my computer in Japan while I was in America, I had to retest Dragon Quest X when I got back to Japan. While visiting family in New Jersey for my last 11 days in the USA, I was able to play exactly 0 hours. Why does he not sound like he's from Jersey? I got COVID immediately upon returning to Japan, so there went another 10 days. So that might have affected my Dragon Quest X results negatively, but here they are. Only 18 lookups in 1 hour compared to the previous 35. That's almost halved from before. And I got significantly further in the story this time. Not to mention 11 fights versus day 1's 2 fights, and reaching level 5 instead of level 2. Another huge win on this front. As you can see, the results speak for themselves. Nintendo 3DS is a totally viable way to immerse in Japanese. If you're not quite ready for this level of immersion though, or you're a total beginner, our course on tokenyandy.com might be exactly
He's got Japanese lessons too.
All the grammar necessary.
There's a Japanese woman. That's probably the waifu.
Project, with exercises, shadowing practice, and lots of original reading and listening material to help make it all stick. All while introducing you to new vocabulary in context. Get 50% off your first month with coupon code Nintendo3DS and join the community of over 1,200 Japanese learners today.
Hey,
Out
good
of
for
all
him,
the games
bro.
I bought,
Hell
there
yeah,
are only
man.
3 that I would not recommend at all.
The first
was Bungaku
send that
Zenshu.
shit.
It's basically just a bunch of books you can read, but it's worse in your eyes than Kindle, and you can't actually look up anything in the game itself, like you could on a Kindle or in a web browser. I also saw Bunsho Yomi
I appreciate the
Torein,
Nintendo
recommended on Twitter
background
and
music.
gave that a shot, but my god was it boring. Finally, I tried the visual novel World End Economica 1 on 3DS. The game seems good, but I'd recommend it on a different platform, as it's really hard to see the kanji on such a small screen for this game. Every other game I picked up, I could definitely recommend. Here's a list in order of difficulty. I also list whether they have furigana or voice acting. You can find links for all of them down in the description and can order them used even outside of Japan from some sellers. One quick, very important note is that you can only play Japanese 3DS games on a Japanese 3DS.
Oh, really?
You can
I
order
didn't know
used
that.
ones very cheaply on
I
the
thought you could
Japanese
use that
Amazon
on
and get
all
them shipped
DSs.
anywhere in the world. There's an affiliate link in the description if you'd like your purchase to help out this channel.
Oh,
Doesn't
yeah?
cost anything extra. What's your favorite 3DS game?
Wow, you know, this guy, he's, this dude, he really works the shaft. I mean, oh, that's a perfect picture to pause his face on. Yeah, that guy right there, he works some shaft. Look at that. This guy's smart, man. He like, you know, the fact of the matter is that I stick by my by what I say. I stick by my conviction that, like, if you go on my Patreon, you'll find the most basic shit to learn Japanese. Like, people like overcomplicating shit and super tracking stuff because they feel like that's the only way. Like, they need to get super fucking technical. And, you know, it's like when it comes down to it, it's like, nah, dude, you just got to immerse yourself and get flashcards. But dudes like this, they're able to make money because people feel like they need to, like, sign up for, like, a complicated system. Like, oh, he listed all these games and all this extra information, and that's good, but it's not really needed, you know? That's the important part of this message, is that it's good, but you don't need it. But, I mean, that's the same with everything, right? I mean, that's the reason why I really like my AJAT lessons that I did, is because the AJAT website got taken down. So, you know, for me to pass on the wonderful word and wisdom of Katsumoto Shisho, then, you know, we gotta, it's what we do over here. So, yeah, you know, but anyway, to each their own. Technically, he's correct unless you modify firmware. Okay, yeah, Wu-Tang. But anyway, yeah, guys, that's it for this reaction to Tokini Andy's video. What do you guys think about it? Do you even have a 3DS anymore? I don't know what happened to it. I bought Metal Gear Solid 3 for it, and then I realized they changed the control scheme, so you have to use the shoulder buttons like Metal Gear Solid 4. And I was like, fuck this game. It sucks. Yeah. But anyway, with that being, you couldn't even use the right analog. Like, what's the point? But yeah, point is, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. If you made it this far, type in, I need to take a shit, because that's what this guy's face looks like right now. He's like, he's clenching, he's turtlenecking right now. He's, you know, he's trying to hold it in, but he's got to record it. But anyway, yeah, guys, type in turtlenecking to know you made it, to let me know you made it that far, and check out the playlist at the end. I've got plenty of other reactions for you guys to binge later. You guys, I'll stay black. See you on the next one, and Otsukaresama deshita. Yeah, buddy. Oh, God.
It's time you bit the bullet and started caring about something with all your heart and energy. But you can't care about it if you're always holding yourself back in case it doesn't work out.
Yeah, why y'all put cheese on my cheeseburger?
I'm sorry, what?
Shut your bitch ass